Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to Comics League Movie Night. Today we are talking about what is probably the best DC animated movie, not into Camu, Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, or a Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. It doesn't matter what the title is. I'm more of a Superman fan, so I'm going to put Superman first. So let's bring in the gents. It's just going to be three people on today's panel. We have got
all the hopes and dreams of Krypton live in you now.
my brother from the UK.
All the hopes of dreams of Wonder Man.
Okay.
What's up?
You had to ruin it. So we're talking about Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, which is based upon the comic book Superman, Batman, Supergirl by Jeff Loeb and art by Michael Turner. Michael Turner, R.I.P., one of the greatest comic book artists of all time. And so I'm going to start off by giving you guys the context for this movie. So again, it's based on this graphic novel, and this was the return of Supergirl to the DCU, the return of actual Supergirl, not Matrix, the weird alien that
post-crisis, basically.
Yeah, this is post-crisis actual Kara Zor-El Supergirl from Krypton. This is the first time she has been back since Crisis on Infinite Earths. Because remember, she died. Yeah, she died in Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it. So a couple of context things. So Lex Luthor was the president of the United States in the previous storyline, because the previous one was
Public Enemies.
Was Public Enemies, where Superman and Batman are hunted by Lex Luthor's superhero gang, and they stop Lex Luthor from causing a kryptonite meteor to hit the Earth. And I believe it was revealed at the end of that story is that the kryptonite meteor was like surrounding Kara's like capsule, right, JJheat?
I'm pretty sure, but I think that was the epilogue that set up this story, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah, and so she crash lands in Gotham, and we get some awesome Michael Turner art. And by the way, the movie follows the book like one-to-one,
verbatim.
Even the animated style is verbatim. Hey, what's up, Brown Destroyer? Yeah, I liked the art, especially how girl characters are drawn. Yeah, Michael Turner draws female characters exquisitely.
And you know what? Also, to add to this is the fact that the animation for the film exactly one-to-one to the comic book.
Yeah, they recreated Michael Turner's art, like, again, one-to-one. That's why I say, and I put in the description of this video, one-to-one. It's like one of the most accurate comic book things. They even did that in Public Enemies, the movie, where it was like one-to-one the Ed McGuinness's animation style.
And that's why people prefer the DC animated original movies better, because they adapt the storyline specifically for the storylines. A lot of them were one-offs. Now, some got multi-parters or direct sequels, but that's only in context of the story they were inspired from.
Yeah, like you could take this and Public Enemies as taking place in the same continuity, because they
technically are.
Because they're both adapting stories that took place one after the other. So,
and Under the Red Hood. Now, Under the Red Hood, you could apply to just about any continuity because it's the return of Jason Todd since his death.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
which another fantastic movie. I don't think we covered Under the Red Hood yet.
Huh?
We will.
That needs to be a movie night episode pronto.
Oh yeah, it isn't Batman from Supergirl's pod here. Yeah, the pod crashes in the water. Batman's in the Batboat, and he dives in with his bat scuba suit. He finds her, and then Supergirl unknowingly hijacks the Batboat and crashes into Gotham. So there you go. And she's naked also for that part to establish that. And
okay, this was the middle of the night. I know the moon reflects off the sun, but technically Kara shouldn't even have her powers in the scene, because the sun's not beaming on her. She's not absorbing the sun's rays unless it's reflecting off moonlight. But
well, it's the same reason why Superman still has his powers at night.
True, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But what was cool in the comic is that that they had actual Kryptonian speech in the comic, and in the back there was like a table where you could actually translate what was being said by Kara and Clark back and forth. So that was actually really cool. I like that. So to the movie. So the movie basically plays out. They find through an adventure, Batman captures Kara using kryptonite because that's Batman. That's Batman. Hey, what's up, Chaos? So
What's up?
And then eventually he takes her to the Batcave. Superman's there too, and he's examining Kara. She wakes up, and then Superman's like, "Hey, Bruce, this is my cousin Kara that I didn't know existed previous to today." Because remember, this is after a hard reboot of DC. That's what you all have to understand here. Hard reboot. And so Batman's being his usual Batman self because he thinks that this is a trick by one of the supervillains saying, "Hey, here's how we get to Superman. We impersonate one of his family members to get close to him and then kill him." So then we get, and by the way, you know who voices Supergirl in this movie?
Go on.
Summer Glau of Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and Firefly fame.
And we also got the magnificent and awesome, that is, Kevin Conroy.
Yes.
Yes.
George Newbern, I think it is.
And Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman. Yes,
Yes.
Wonder Woman shows up in this too, which is fantastic. I'm like, yes, Trinity.
A moment of silence to one of the greats.
Okay. Okay. And then Brenda Story says, I remember in Reddit, people were saying Wonder Woman had a relationship with Kara while staying on the island.
That was a dirty room. That was a dirty rumor while the book was coming out. It was quickly debunked.
Yeah.
That was just a dirty rumor. I'm surprised anybody remembered it.
Wait. I read the book and I didn't get any vibes from that. What are you talking about?
Wait.
It was just a dirty rumor people started online when the book came out.
Isn't that supposed to? Well, that rumor might have been a new ship then, Jared.
Well, here's what you have to understand. Also, I'm sure that maybe that rumor influenced Tom Taylor because in Dark Knights of Steel, Wonder Woman and Supergirl are together. So that's a version of Super Wonder.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There's your version of Super Wonder. That was sad.
That's the one that that Snyder Queen certainly supports. So,
okay, we agree. We're at an armistice. We're at a truce. Let's not do something we're going to regret.
Yes, exactly. So, moving on. So, eventually, what's kind of cool is that Clark takes Kara shopping, and she has the regular teenage girl shopping for the first time in this movie. Did a fantastic job showing Clark being dragged through all the stores, being used as like coat hangers
on a reporter's salary. Yeah, he's gonna have a hard time paying that off.
And that was a running joke because Kara like breaks one of Batman's monitors and he goes, "Don't worry, I'll pay for it." And then Batman's like, "On a reporter's salary? Not likely." Because he's Batman. There you go. And so eventually they stop by the statue of Superman in the park. And fun fact, that's the statue they made of him when he died after fighting Doomsday. And then they're attacked by mysterious warrior women. And then she's dragged by a yellow cord. I wonder who this could be.
Wait, I think you're skipping ahead because you had the Darkseid skirmish in the field first.
Mm-hmm. No. That came later. What we do have is they're establishing that they cut to Apokalypse, the home of Darkseid, and Big Barda has already defected. She's left, and now Darkseid is trying to find a new person, to lead the female Fury. So he goes, "Hey, this Kryptonian might be a good idea." So he makes a plan to capture Kara. Now, back to Metropolis, they stop by the statue. That's him being, that's of Superman after he got killed. And then they're attacked by the Amazons. I'm just going to say it right there. And then Wonder Woman goes, "I know this doesn't look like it, but this is for your own good." And then Clark is like, "Wait, oh my gosh, it's you." And then she's like, "Yeah, Clark, she has to come with me because she nearly destroyed this park. So how about we take her to where women with powers can train?" i.e., my island. And at first, Clark is like, not. Clark's like, no, because justifiably, he's very protective over Kara. Very protective.
Fun fact. Now, fun fact: the Tomorrowverse had a very similar setup when they sent Kara to the Legion.
True. So then we cut to Themyscira, and I think Kara is sparring with Artemis, and essentially what's kind of funny is that Artemis is about to like attack Kara, and Clark just catches her arm, saying, "You will not do that." And everyone's like, "Clark, it was a training accident. What are you talking about here?" That was one of the problems in this book, is that Clark is like very overprotective of Kara in this.
Basically, the explanation for that, it was supposed to be a callback to where,
to me, it is
in the Silver Age, where they kind of try to set up Clark and Kara, and it just didn't work, especially given the context that they are cousins. So Clark's overprotectiveness in that story was a callback to the Silver Age. It's a blink and you miss it, but you can piece it together on a rewatch.
Wait, DC tried to pair Clark with
in the Silver Age. In the Silver Age.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
In the
this
Silver
is the one
Age,
where Red Kryptonite would give Superman a lion's head.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so back in the day, Teladia, there was really weird. They hadn't established the rules of the different colors of Kryptonite really well. It's like red would like. The justification is that it would play havoc with Clark's DNA, but like when they did it, it gave him a lion's head, like an actual lion's head.
It was just Silver Age wackiness.
And this is the one where this is the era where there was a panel of Superman dragging a solar system of planets on a chain.
I thought that was a Golden Age comic.
No, that was Silver. That was Silver.
Huh.
Yeah, it was Silver Age, because trust me, Silver Age has some really weird stuff. And Brown Destroyer asked, which movie was better, this one or the recent Supergirl animated movie?
This one, hands down.
This one, absolutely this one. Absolutely, now, this one was better.
Now, to be fair, Tomorrowverse Supergirl was essentially Supergirl lost from JLU. But that doesn't mean there wasn't a good story in there.
I liked that movie. I 100% did. I just like this one a lot better.
Like, come on.
For reasons we'll get... had a lot of action. That's the best way to put it.
What were you saying, JJheat?
I just remembered your chant. You pride yourself on keeping your brand PG. So I'm just going to keep that double entendre to myself.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. So then all of a sudden a boom tube opens and Doomsday comes out and everyone's like, oh no. But then Batman goes, wait, the portal's not closing. And then an army of Doomsdays pop out. And then Wonder Woman rallies her Amazons. Now immediately,
this is a slaughter.
Those of us that remember the death of Superman are like, if this were an army of the actual Doomsdays, because it's not. If this were an army of actual Doomsdays, this would be, everyone would be dead. Everyone would be dead. Let's face it. Because you saw what happened when one Doomsday fought the Justice League, even though it was
a very weak roster, mind you.
Yeah, imagine an army of them, but it turns out these are like very like watered down, because this is meant to be a distraction while Darkseid boom tubes in on the other side of the island and kidnaps Kara. So then so Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are like, okay, so we have to go to Apokalypse to save Kara. So they go to, okay, so who's the member of the Justice League that has been to Apocalypse before?
Big Barda.
Big Barda and Mr. Miracle.
I love the scene where Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman just land in the middle of suburbia, and all the people outside are like going, "Wait, what?" Because no one knows who Big Barda is, essentially.
Now, I don't know about the comic, but I don't think Mr. Miracle was in the movie version.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't even in the comic.
Yeah, I don't think they were together at the time.
Well, he does exist because they show his suit hung up on her wall or something like that in her little closet, I think.
So he was just out of the house that day.
Yeah, it could be he was out of the house. He comes back. Oh yeah, she writes down a little note next to this sex pack of beer. Went on an adventure with the Justice League. and I love in the movie it comes back because a Big Barda is like, okay, I'll take you, but I'm coming with you. And then Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are like, no, you're not. And then she shows up in the suit, and Batman goes, I'm convinced. What about you two?
Yeah, Batman knows when to pick his battles.
Then they go to Apokalypse, and immediately, this is one of the reasons why I love this movie so much, because I'm a big fan of like the New Gods and Darkseid and the Female Fury specifically, and this was like all that. This was all that, and it was super fun.
All you have a bag of chips.
Yeah. Then you have.
Sorry, I'm a '90s kid, so
I know. My jean shorts chain was dangling all the whole time, but that's another '90s reference. There you go. I had my pizza bagels, but enough of the '90s references. Then we had like the group splits up. Wonder Woman and Barda go to the arena and fight the Female Furies, and like one of the most. In a fight scene that I really want to see in live action, hashtag sell the Snyderverse to Netflix. And then I love where these flying creatures are like, if we kill Superman, we will be rewarded by Darkseid for Darkseid. And they just slam into Superman and he just walks away. It's like that did nothing. And then Batman is like eaten by a hellhound, and then he just he essentially defeats the hellhound because he's Batman, but not before he sets off these little landmines that would to take out all of Apocalypse. And JJheat asked, didn't Superman hook up with one of the Furies in Legacy? Yes. What happened was, and they did this in the comics too, he hooked up with Lashina, and I believe they actually had a kid, I think. I'm not sure about that.
I think
they did hook up in the Superman animated series,
because this was based on an Elseworld story. Now I don't know about the original comic, but they did hook up in both versions. In DCAU, they never alluded to them having a kid after the fact, but in the comic they did.
Look at the disappointment on Teladia's face. It's like when I mentioned the Gotham Knights show last night.
Well, it could be worse. We could have mentioned Superman and Big Barda.
Oh yeah, you mean that? I can't believe that was ever a thing.
I'm surprised the writer got away with that.
I know. I'm surprised. This was during the Comics Code era of DC, and I'm like, that got passed.
Oh, editorial. That must have been a cool editor back then.
Cool or that crazy editor.
Or a pervert. It could be any of the three.
Yeah, Brown Destroyer pretty much summarizes it right
come
there.
on.
Yeah.
No more super things.
Wasn't
you broke the geometry?
I know. So son right hand, welcome, says, wasn't the Hunter Prince son Wonder Woman's
Oh, that
son?
is true.
Yeah, she was. Okay, so here's what they did. They teased us by having, okay, so everyone here is wearing memories of all their parents. So he's wearing Superman's cape and Wonder Woman's accoutrement. So everyone's like, what are we supposed to assume by that? I hit the mic in my frustration, but
and this leads. Oh,
and then wait, it gets better. They BS it, going, oh, actually, no, they don't end up together. What happens is, okay, so Wonder Woman abandons her son, but they explain why that happens, and it's actually okay. And then Clark adopted the son, so it's not like I'm like,
okay, and okay, just right quick in context. This leads to a very mythologically accurate depiction of the Amazons, where they're sirens and they seduce sailors before disposing of them. And if the child was end up a boy, they take them to a far sector of the island where they're abandoned and left to fend for themselves, like the Spartans. Mm-hmm. So in the story, now Clark eventually found the kid after the fact, but I think if Diana really wanted to, she could have left Themyscira in protest to raise her child if she really wanted to. I think she just... I have to go back and read that story, but I think I like to think Diana made the best out of a bad situation, and Hunter would just be better off with Clark.
Plus, remember, she abandoned him because she was turning into the darkness, the evil being that like destroyed the world in the future. So she was like, let me put him somewhere where he could survive.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. I hadn't read that story in a minute. And yes, Brown Destroyer, they did, after Convergence, they did designate the New 52 as a separate universe.
I thought they did that after Doomsday Clock.
It was both. They did it.
Okay.
They did in Convergence and then again in Doomsday Clock.
And then Matrix Supergirl and Superman Supergirl was way more powerful than Hunter Prince. Yeah, because Hunter Prince didn't really have any powers beyond like super strength, I think, right?
Yeah, she had very basic powers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was actually a
I
good
still
figure.
can't believe you mentioned Superman and Big Brother and things. Please.
To be fair, it wasn't me. It was this guy right here.
Hey,
No, but no, because of well,
Wait, hang
because,
on. JHeat, I gotta play this because you mentioned.
Why did you say that name?
it was from the same era. Come on, it was relevant.
it might be relevant, but at the end of the day, it
Thank you, Teladia. But so going on, so Clark goes and fights Supergirl, but Supergirl is like much more powerful than Clark because she has like it's the whole thing about like a teenager's metabolism, and so apparently she metabolizes solar radiation much better than Clark.
Yeah.
So what Clark has to do.
Go ahead.
This was in the comics, not in the movie. In his little belt buckle, he keeps Batman's kryptonite ring. So he takes it out and then punches Supergirl and like knocks her out. And at the same time, Batman has one of the best Batman interactions with Darkseid of all time.
Okay, you just skipped to the third act.
I was already at that point.
Oh wow, Superman Apocalypse is a very short movie looking back.
It is. It goes really fast. But so Batman has a really epic interaction with Darkseid, which I believe we've actually recreated on this channel a few times. If Nick was here, we could have done it. But so basically, Batman goes to Darkseid and he goes, okay. And by the way, we mentioned Super Sons. What's up, Tevia?
oh god, we mentioned Super Sons.
So anyway,
hey,
Darkseid goes to Batman goes to Darkseid, release Supergirl, or I'll detonate the hell spawns. And then he's like, "Oh, you wouldn't do that."
Omega Sanction XL9.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a bluff to you.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually, Darkseid's like, "Well played, detective." I think it says detective.
Well played. If the Amazon or the Kryptonian took that gamble, they would have lost. Very well. The girl will have her freedom. Now call off the bombs.
Spoiler alert, it doesn't last. Oh, I hope someday we get this interaction between Superman and Darkseid right here.
Is made of cardboard.
Remember that at the end of Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah. Oh,
yes. Injustice tried to reference this scene. It just didn't work.
No. You have to go straight recreation of that line.
Yeah.
I would prefer if it were Henry Cavill saying it to Ray Porter, but we'll see what happens with that because that could happen. We need this live action. Yes, we do, Lauren. Yes. He says, "Well played." He also says, "But you're a human." But yeah. But the point is, Darkseid lets them go and totally like keeps his word, right?
Now,
to a certain degree,
Darkseid will honor his deals most of the time. But if there's a loophole to exploit, he'll take it.
So you're telling me he did keep his word from a certain point of view? I need that drop for this because that would be awesome. But basically he shows up and says, "Oh yeah, I said I wouldn't come back for her. I'll come back for you." So Darkseid and Superman have a fight on the Kent farm, to which in the comic Kara's killed, but she was actually teleported at the same time because spoiler alert, Superman and Batman knew Darkseid was not going to keep his word. But anyway, in the comic, Supergirl completely destroys Darkseid, but then he fights her, and then Superman boom tooms Darkseid into like space, which I'm like,
he could just find his way back.
Yeah, that wouldn't affect him. I mean, even in the movie they show him like freezing over, and I'm like, that wouldn't work. That's not what would have happened. But anyway,
now the vacuum of space is a factor, but considering that Darkseid's a new god, he'd break out of it relatively quickly.
Exactly. But the point is, they defeat Darkseid, and then Supergirl shows up. In the comic, they make a big deal of this on Themyscira, where Supergirl is going. In the comic, he boom tubes him into the source wall, which is like the dividing line between, according to Grant Morrison, the Marvel universe and the DC universe.
And in JLU, Lex Luthor kind of I don't know if he actually pieces together the anti-life equation in JLU, but he does bait and offer to Darkseid, but they will end up getting bound to it as well. So Lex Luthor technically dies in the DCAU. I'm not saying it's a redemption arc in any sense of the word, but he's a necessary evil to defeat Darkseid in the end.
Mm-hmm. So the movie concludes with Supergirl deciding, I'm going to be Supergirl in a scene that, okay, so in the comic, they had like the Teen Titans, the JSA, the JLA all show up. And it's essentially, to quote Comic Pop, DC editorial going, look at all these books you can be in now. And it was essentially telling all the writers, here's a gift to you. You can now put Kara in all these books.
And the lucky winner was Teen Titans 03.
Yeah.
Third volume, I believe.
And Terry says, according to Scott Snyder's Justice League, the Source World is a prison for Perpetua. Well, it would eventually be retconned to be a prison for Perpetua.
Yeah, we don't talk about that story.
Yeah, but that's the conclusion of the movie. So I want to start with Teladia, since this was his pick. So Teladia, what do you like about this movie? Why'd you pick it, etc.? Go on.
Well, the reason I picked this film because it's a great film, great adaptation, one-to-one to the comic. Secondly, you had the great voices of the Justice League DCAU in there from Kevin Conroy, George
Trinity,
the Trinity, yeah, specifically, yes. And the fact that it had a lot of action in it, I was just like, you know what? Let's watch the actual interpretation of one-to-one comic, which makes sense, and animation style looks great. I was just like, yeah, we have to go watch this film. And it knocks it out the park every time when I watch it. And I think it's actually on the same level, I would say, as maybe All-Star Superman, or even better than that. Actually, would be on the same level as the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, because again, it is, because all three of those movies and Public Enemies are legit one-to-one recreations of their comics, like astoundingly close to a way that also they basically found a way to make practically everything in the comic translate into a movie, even though it's an animated movie.
Yeah, and that's why I loved. That's why I picked it. I was just like, I've got a good one. I said to Jared in the DMs, I was like, yeah, I got a good one for you. And I said, Superman, Superman, Batman, Apocalypse. And he was like, yes.
That's my favorite animated movie that DC's ever done. It is my favorite animated movie that DC has ever done.
Who did the voice work for Darkseid? I forgot.
Let me check. Superman, Batman, Apocalypse.
I think they brought back the actor who did DCAU Darkseid. I think they brought him back.
Let me see. Darkseid was Andre Brower.
Huh.
He was General Hager in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Still, that's a pretty decent impression of Darkseid. That was a pretty decent performance.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I really enjoyed his Darkseid.
It's no DCAU by any stretch of the imagination.
And it's no Ray Porter, but still, it's like he did a very decent job.
It's pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's considering Darkseid has a voice that's easy to screw up, because
very easy.
Because here's the thing about Darkseid, which you have to understand about doing the voice, and this is why I was nervous when the Snyder Cut was coming out, because for Darkseid's voice, you have to figure out a way to make him sound alien and intimidating, and to a certain degree satanic, and a lot of actors can't do that.
Not naturally.
Luckily, all the iterations that I have seen from DCAU, from the Snyder Cut, from like this, have nailed it. I mean, when I first heard Ray Porter do the Darkseid voice like this,
anti-life is found, Assad, and we will stop at nothing to possess it.
See, he's got that gravelly voice that you want in Darkseid, and it sounds like he essentially sounds like true form Darkseid speaking through his earthly avatar, and that's what you want, because he sounds very like ethereal. And by the way, Tevye says he's no Michael Ironside, but he's really good. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a hot take, but someone.
Hot.
Okay.
That's a hot take.
The only bad Dark that we got is Stephen Bloom from Justice League War.
I agree.
Here's the thing about that one. A lot of those voice actors changed. Because remember, we had Alan Tudyk as Superman, and we also had someone else as Wonder Woman. So
the casting for JL, the casting lead for Justice League War was a one and done.
Yeah,
some came back, some continued, but the majority of that cast was recasted. Because again, it's
for the better.
But I heard that Steve Bloom mostly used voiceover because his voice wasn't the best at the time of recording, so he used voice modulator for that.
Yeah, which there's a time and place for that. But actually, Ray Porter has said, I didn't use any voice modulator or anything for that. There was a way to make your voice sound like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you are awesome. And yes, a cow says, got a smile on my face when I heard that part. Yeah, me too, because that is Darkseid. There you go. That's true.
Wait, Tony Todd.
Yeah, he was Darkseid, I think, in the last few movies. I think he was Darkseid in the DCAU moving forward.
Oh yeah, because you got Superman the animated series, and then you got JLU when he comes back. Okay.
Yeah, and remember, we also had him in Superman in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Wait, I think that was Michael Ironside.
No, that wasn't Ironside. No. Hang on, I'll look it up so I can tell you. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Here, I'll pull it up.
Okay.
And let me pull it. Okay, IMDb. I'm trying to get IMDb to come up. Come on. All right, here we go. So Darkseid was played by Tony Todd.
Huh.
Yep, Tony Todd.
That was okay. A pretty decent performance.
And also, let's not forget, Constantine was played by Matt Ryan. I just love how whenever Constantine anything, it's him. I'm like, yes, thank you. Brown Destroyer says Axis was the link between DC and Marvel. People were saying the source wall was between DC and Marvel, but we didn't find it. Yeah, because that's what Grant Morrison wanted the source wall to be when he was writing. I think it was like
Multiversity. I want to say
he wanted to be that. Yeah, he was Darkseid in Reign of Superman and Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Yeah, I have to say, when I watched Justice League War, like for a rewatch, I was not a big fan of that. That's an example of the Darkseid voice not turning out so well because it sounds too modulated. You want to have a little bit of the actor in the Darkseid voice. You want to have a little bit of it. And then that's why, again, like the Snyder Cut has like the Snyder Cut, I think, has the best version of Darkseid's voice because it has like, you can definitely, it sounds like he's like the Avatar is talking, but also the spirit of Darkseid is talking, like with this.
Ready the Armada. We will use the old ways.
Yep, there you go. See?
Ready the Armada. We will use the old ways.
But going on, but returning to this movie, one of the other things I liked was, again, it's a Trinity movie. It's basically a Trinity movie. There you go. And I feel like this is a thing that DC needs to do with future animated movies. They should make a Trinity movie, start making Trinity movies, because we've had Superman, Batman movies. We haven't had Superman, Wonder Woman movies, which I would love if they adapted like Power Couple or anything like that, but I'll take what I can get. But if they made a Trinity movie, even a Trinity like live action movie at some point, I'm convinced it's going to happen. But I'm like, because we've never had that.
Some would argue BVS was a Trinity movie because Wonder Woman came in the third act, and she wasn't
the movie most of it. The movie that's for the entire movie, just the three of them teaming up, solving a mystery of the multiverse or something like that, just doing something. Or a Trinity movie that really establishes the friendship among these three characters, because that's my one gripe with the Snyderverse, and I know it would have been fleshed out later because remember, it got cut off early, that we never got the friendship among Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Brown Destroyer, have you used this joke before? Because I feel like you used it once yesterday.
Yeah. That was yesterday, and
he used it yesterday.
My answer is the same. Jeff Johns. I like Scott Snyder a lot. I just prefer Jeff Johns' writing a lot more. So, yes. That is true. We didn't get it. We never got even
Right.
got a Trinity movie in the AU. Well, we got episodes. We got an episode or two, but no like Trinity movie.
Now, okay, there was this one episode that involves Diana being turned into a pig. I think it was
That wasn't a
Cersei.
Trinity
Yeah.
movie. That wasn't a Trinity movie.
No, that was an episode of Super. What's it called?
Well,
Justice
that wasn't
League.
even a Trinity episode. There was one where Boston Brand shows up and like takes over Wonder Woman. She starts talking in a Boston accent. It was hilarious.
Oh, I'm confusing that with the Rogue Amazon episode. You know the yeah.
We're coming up to that in our rewatch, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
okay.
that. And then Nightwing. Oh yeah, this is Nick. I like not that Supergirl was voiced by Summer Glau. Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. It was awesome. Wait.
Oh, DeCamu. Okay.
Oh, you mean the camo? Yeah, we should have gotten that too. They should have done more team up movies outside of Justice League because
That would have been a
I
perfect.
reckon. Sorry, go on.
That would have been a perfect chance to adapt Power Couple. At
yes,
least
exactly
one
because there are a couple that I'm not saying do every arc. At least do that one. At
Yeah.
least do one.
And
Well,
actually establish why Superman and Wonder Woman break up instead of cutting straight to Lois and Death
no.
and Reign.
No,
And then
no.
going to-
Well,
Then
they didn't break
go
up in
to
that first
Batman.
arc. They didn't break up in that first arc. Read the actual story or watch my coverage of it on this channel. Because I did do
And
that.
then Wonder Woman went to Batman.
Hey,
I thought we had
I honored it. I honored the armistice. I honored it.
Thunder Goddess animated movie
I-
when? Maybe. Honestly, here's the thing. I was thinking that if my comic gets really good, I may do an animated series on it because I'm pretty sure I could find people to make an animated series and I'll just release it on YouTube.
So, but here's what I think as well. When it comes down
What's
to
up?
this movie, right?
Mhm.
It should be. Why don't we have a live action film of this?
I know, right? Because here's the thing: if the Snyderverse continues on a Cell thing and they decide to like do other stuff, in the event that happens, they should do this because
To be
they
fair,
have a version of Supergirl. They have everything else because you only need Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Darkseid.
Yes.
You have them.
Kara's brain, when she gets brainwashed by Granny Goodness, Kara's attire is very skimpy.
You don't have to do that. But what I'm saying, you could like have her in like a black, a very like you don't have to have her in like bondage gear. That's what I'm saying. But what you could do is adapt basically the story. Yeah, when Batman talks down to Darkseid, exactly. What's the best story for Wonder Woman Superman arc in the New 52? Jewel gets yes. Okay, so to establish that context, and this is why I would want this as a movie. So in the arc, Doomsday is breaking out of the Phantom Zone that they established in the New 52. That what happened to Doomsday is that he showed up on Krypton and then they banished him to the Phantom Zone. So he's breaking out, and it's revealed that it was because of Zod. But going on. So Wonder Woman takes Superman, her boyfriend, to meet Hephaestus because Hephaestus is the forger of the gods. Because they're trying to say, hey, can you make us like some gear and armor and stuff for like to fight this thing? So he's like, okay, cool. Apollo shows up. Apollo's the god of the sun. You need to understand that because that's very important to what's going to happen. So he makes very disparaging comments about Wonder Woman. So Superman,
And her taste.
he basically backhands. He basically punches Apollo, and Apollo blasts Superman with sunlight. And Superman goes, okay, you blast sunlight.
That's when he knew.
He
effed
effed
up.
up because Superman essentially says, in the most not impressed way ever, he goes, you don't know that much about me, do you? And he punches him through the volcano. It was so dope. Yes, I would love to see. Go to
And cheap plug, I'm actually using this as a basis for a what if video with Jared once we get that set up.
Yeah,
I'm
we're gonna do that.
I'm still tweaking the script, but you'll hear about that one in the future. I will put something on my community tab.
And Power Couple is the best arc. What's up, Teladia?
No, please, no. That New 52 Superman and Wonder Woman, please.
Okay. And Sun Raytan says, should DC make an animated movie of Men of Tomorrow, the battle between Superman and Ulysses?
No.
What was that again?
That was a self-contained story.
Self-contained story of the Kryptonian. Battle of Kryptonian.
And Kandor.
I'm
And
trying to remember.
Kandor.
Did I
This
watch?
happened-
Did I read that one?
This happened in the comic in New 52.
Yeah, this was a very short comic.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was in Supergirl. I believe. The
I
New
never
52
read it,
Supergirl.
but I think I know what you're talking about. I don't think so. I don't.
No, that was a self-contained story. That was just a small skirmish. I wouldn't even call that a mini arc. That was just a small skirmish that lasted like 2 issues.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but if you guys want, I will make a reading list for Superman and Wonder Woman stuff to satisfy Brown Destroyer. But anyway, back to this. And so I like that we had like again, you could definitely. I loved this movie. Did Supergirl justice? Yes, it did.
Yes,
It 100% did. So I'll talk about that. It definitely showed Supergirl also growing into being a hero, because remember, she didn't know what she wanted to do, and then eventually she's like, I want to be like Clark. Brown Destroyer asked, do you think they did the same in Future State with Brazilian Wonder Girl and John Kent?
Okay, it was implied. Okay, they really
It was
wanted to milk
implied.
the whole LGBT aspect with Future State John Kent, but you could tell there was something that they at least had a bit of a fling. It was implied, but there was nothing confirmed.
I would have taken that. I would have taken that if they gave me that, but no, DC has to be pains in the asses.
No, but here's what I also think as well, right?
Mhm.
I also think that this leads on to Superman, Brainiac, Superman Unbound as well.
Oh,
That's honestly a good idea. I mean, to link these two, because Supergirl's in that.
the art style's different, but you can make it work.
Well, the art style was different between Public Enemies and this.
Yeah,
So it doesn't really matter. So the art style doesn't
it
really matter.
doesn't. It doesn't really matter, but it can lead.
It can
to Superman.
fit.
That's
It can fit.
You know what? That's funny, Teladia. I never thought of that. Wow.
I mean, that's how I've always thought of it. Superman, Batman, Public Enemy. Then it was Superman, Batman, Apocalypse. Then Superman Unbound.
Yeah.
Trilogy. I like that one. That's honestly not that bad. I like that one, and I enjoyed the animation style of that movie. I thought it was pretty cool.
Unbound, yeah.
Mhm.
They were gonna make a video game of it too.
And according to James Gunn, that's gonna be the plot of his Superman movie. So I'm like, okay, it's fine. At least you're using Brainiac, and no one's ever used Brainiac. So there you go.
Because he requires a lot of CGI, and if you don't have the right budget, I can see why you would
They
have.
did it in Krypton, and it actually looked really good in Krypton.
But okay, but he wasn't fully effects. He still had a bodysuit. He still had a bodysuit.
You don't need that much VFX for Brainiac, really. You just need the bodysuit.
All right, I'll concede
Because
that.
if that's what we got for a movie, I would take that, because that looked really good, right, Teladia?
Yes, a Brainiac film with Superman.
By the way, I want the Return of Krypton. That show was great.
Wasn't it on Sci-Fi and it lasted
Yeah.
like 2 seasons?
Two seasons. We got a cool version of Lobo. It was super dope.
But that show's long gone.
I know.
Long.
I wish we would get it, but no.
Same with Titans. Same with Flash is done.
Mhm.
But
I'm
But,
glad
you know-
Flash is done.
of course,
I had to say
yeah.
that. I had to say that. But what were you saying, Teladia?
Like the Superman Unbound, right, film, which I think is tied to this. But they were gonna make a video game of this, and I was just like, why didn't we get this game? Because it would have been so dope to fight against Brainiac with Superman and Supergirl.
Yeah, I would love that. Now, Sonny Ray Tan has an interesting question. What do you guys think of Green Lantern First Flight? Fantastic.
What Green Lantern 2011 should have been. You had the perfect blueprint.
In fact, if you guys want, we can cover that on a movie night.
Now,
one of you two pick that one.
I will concede that you could have risked an in-house branding dispute if you blatantly ripped it off. But all you had to do was change a few minor details, like Sinestro not forging the Yellow Lantern Corps right away.
Yeah,
Just
there
have
you
him
go.
just have him go rogue. Set up a post-credit scene with Sinestro creating the Yellow Power Ring.
Yeah, don't even make a bastardized version of Parallax.
Yeah, that would really make, because this was when Jeff Johns' run was coming out. But 2011 just pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah, because you had that, and everyone's like, just do what the book says. The book is good. And they didn't. So Brown Destroyer says, do you think that Apollo's existence caused confusion in DC Comics into Apollo and the Sun God
Okay,
exist?
in DC, a lot of the mythologies kind of converge together. There's at least one consistent version of each mythology among the big two. They're characterized differently, but they're public domain.
And remember, also, I think he's also talking about the fact that Apollo and Midnighter, and then Apollo, the god of the sun, too.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
But it just depends on which one we're talking about. It's not like the authorities show up in DC Comics that much.
They
Even
should have
though
done
instead
the
of
elite.
What?
They should have done the elite instead of the authority.
yeah, now
Well, yeah.
yeah, I concede that. But a lot of them remained villains. The only one that became an anti-hero was Manchester Black. The majority of them remained villains after the fact. And I think with the exception of the Snake Woman, I think she was killed off in a sequel story.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least the next time she was she made an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And the other two just remained villains. Manchester Black was an anti-hero despite everything that happened.
He seems like a Constantine ripoff, dude.
He is.
He definitely is. He 100%. I'm not the only one that got Constantine vibes when we covered that movie, right?
Bloody wanker.
There you
Hey,
go. Thank you, JJheat. Thank
That's my line.
you. Yeah, but he's playing a Constantine, our D&D campaign.
You got to admit, I got you, mate. but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the movie itself, like I give this a 9.5 out of 10.
Me too. 100% a 9.5 out of 10. This was fantastic.
I give this a 9.5.
Particularly in the way it recreates Michael Turner's art, too.
Definitely. The only nitpick I would have... I can't even find a nitpick that would...
There is no nitpick. It's so perfect. I know. It's so good.
It's...
You know,
Thank you, Lawrence.
You know what? Screw it. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Because in the original comic...
There was no critique here.
In the original comics, Darkseid was thrown into the Phantom Zone. I mean, no, in the Source Wall. But in the movie version, he was just thrown to space, incapacitated, and the movie just kind of wraps up. So, other than the slightly altered ending, I see this movie is virtually perfect, other than that one nitpick and how Darkseid was defeated.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it's petty, but
here's how I can explain it.
Here's
how I can explain it. Remember. That's Darkseid's like manifestation, his body. It's not really Darkseid dying. He could have left that body and then gone to another one. So it's totally believable that the body itself dies.
Okay, we're using Infinite Frontier and Final Crisis logic, but I'll run with it.
Well, I'm saying it's always been that way with Darkseid. That what we see is just his physical manifestation. So using my knowledge of Darkseid, I can explain that away. That's why I'm like, this movie's really solid. Like, wow. And again, I can't find, besides the ending, one thing that this dramatically deviated from the comic. It is astounding.
I must concede. That's a fair point.
Again, this is the golden age, I think, of comic book adaptations for animated projects because they did the art style and pretty much the plot. It still blows me away when I watch this, Public Enemies, Under the Red Hood, and then I watch Hush.
Okay, Hush deviated because, you know what? I'm just going to say it. Hush was originally going to be the DeCammo adaptation of Under the Red Hood with Jason Todd, especially with the anniversary of Under the Red Hood 2010 fast approaching, but they backed out last minute and decided to keep it as Riddler instead, probably because they decided to just do an anniversary re-release, the Choose Your Own Adventure version instead. I don't know why they backed out, but they ultimately backed out because it was going to get compared to Under the Red Hood regardless. Like, yeah, people would have critiqued it, but you really would have...
I have a piece of trivia for you about Under the Red Hood. Did you know that the original comic was not called Under the Red Hood? It was called Batman Red Hood, I think. But then when the movie came out and became super popular, they retitled it Under the Red Hood.
Yes.
I never understood the concept of Darkseid being a multiversal being. There's multiple versions of Darkseid.
Because the new gods are a constant in the multiverse, regardless of crisis, regardless of reboots. There's always going to be three consistencies. the anthologies, the New Gods, and the Crime Syndicate. Those are going to be your 3 constants in any Elseworld or multiverse.
And in terms of there's being multiple versions of Darkseid, that's just because there's multiple versions of DC. So you're not going to escape from that. But in each version of DC, there's only one Darkseid, even if there's multiple versions of the multiverse, if that's not confusing.
Okay, so compare. All right, imagine a crossover between. If this would never happen, mind you, between DeCamu and Young Justice. Just a quick one-off story or a short animated movie.
That could happen. I mean,
DeCamu, Teen Titans, and Young Justice. Maybe Dayman gets lost into the multiverse and a mission gone wrong, and they have to find him. Where they essentially are teased about Darkseid and his pursuit of the anti-life equation. And you have the rogue Kryptonians from season 4. What if in that story they try to justify, well, how does Darkseid get the Paradoom DNA to create the Paradoom hybrids? Maybe he spliced Val-Zod and his cronies. Like, okay, let's take this bastard down. And and even if you do find a way to destroy Apokalypse, you would only destroy that version of Apokalypse in this reality. It won't change what happens to you. You may be able to prevent the Paradooms, but that's about the most you'll be able to do.
Mm-hmm. So on that note, and that's a good point, JJheat. Thanks for bringing that up. I mean, yeah, here's the thing. DC makes it really hard to understand the multiverse and to understand the whole concept of Darkseid being one, despite the fact that there are like that they have had multiple versions of Darkseid, but you can just say it's just a costume change. But all in all, 10 out of 10 movie, because I can explain all that stuff away. So that's where we're gonna leave it. But by the way, all right, real quick, everyone in the chat, drop in what other animated movies you would like to see featured in a movie night, and will and it may influence one of our choices. And by the way, so I believe next week is
DCAU week.
Is DeCamu. All right,
DeCamu week.
So we're covering Justice League versus Teen Titans next week. Another Super Wonder movie, so I will have a clip made. Too late.
You broke the thing. So
no, I didn't. I'm allowed to make clips.
No, you said
no. I'm allowed to make clips.
You did say the ship out loud, Jared. You did say the ship out loud.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna have clips made, and by the way, Teladia, you're on the bottom. So,
come on.
Again, drop in the comments any like the Justice League Dark movie. Yeah, we're gonna cover that because that's actually in the lineup for DeCamu, both JLD movies. And Tevia, I know you want us to cover Super Sons. We will. Okay, we'll talk about that.
Time for revenge.
yeah, we are gonna end up covering Battle of the Super Sons, and I give this movie a 10 out of 10. Yes. Tavia, this is the one few times where we actually agree.
And I highly recommend you check out my previous collab with Tevia. It's a bit of a long one. It does go off the rails a bit.
It's the length of the Snyder Cut.
Not that long. But at the very end, Pika Shades makes a very special performance for everybody. It is worth it. I cannot stress that enough.
Speaking of a really long piece of content, I watched all of the extended cuts of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Dear God!
Did you know that the extended cut for Return of the King is 4.5 hours?
Yes!
Longer than the Snyder Cut.
Yes!
And by the way, so they're re-releasing those in theaters for the 20-year anniversary. I saw that in theaters.
Watch it. Yes, we're watching it.
Don't watch what? Are you talking about the Super Sons movie?
No, the ending of JJheat's stream.
Well.
The way PK says it is just...
Wait a minute.
All right, so again, drop in the chat what movie you guys want to see, or just email me, DM me on Twitter at ComicsLeagueJT, DM any of us, and it'll certainly influence some choices. But once again, I love the finale to his stream. It was funny.
Jared, if it makes you feel any better, promise you won't break the Amistance if I say it. If I tell you, promise you won't break it.
If you tell me what
Pika did.
No, you told me before we do this that he did a special performance of the Wonder Bat song.
No, I didn't.
No, Teladia, this isn't breaking the armistice. As much as you want to break that, I will not allow you to.
Okay.
I didn't find the Snyder Cut to be long at all. Neither did I.
It was a breeze.
The same can't be said for Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is a long movie.
Yes, it is.
Wait, I need to share something.
Okay.
Like, oh my god, those extended cuts. I'm like,
yeah.
It takes about as long as it takes to read the books. Okay, that's how long the books feel.
The pacing in Lord of the Rings it's a great story. Don't get me wrong.
I love it,
but the pacing is poor.
It's almost as bad as the Batman.
That's not it.
No, man, not the same. The Batman drags.
I was going to show you a GIF. Show you guys a GIF that I found on the internet.
Hold on, it's not screen sharing.
Yeah, one second.
Green Lantern First Flight. Yeah, we have another suggestion. We may have to. We probably will cover that.
What is it? Notification. No.
What's another movie that any of you guys might want us to discuss?
Crisis on Two Earths.
Okay, that works.
What's another one? We already set up. We're already planning Under the Red Hood in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to have that done as soon as possible.
There's no sound.
Oh yeah.
So.
No sound of this. But
hey, new 52 Superman. Is that in Fortnite?
No.
This
was going to be for an actual Superman game.
Oh my god!
And
Green Lantern Emerald Knights. Yes.
Yes.
Now, is that wait? Is that the movie? That's the compilation of all those stories of Green Lantern.
It's an anthology. It's an anthology film.
Yes, please, for the love of God, I love that movie.
It's an anthology film, but man, is it so good!
I really want
Pattinson's Batman failed in everything that movie.
Yeah, a Pattinson failed in.
Would I call Pattinson a bad Batman performance? No, there are worse ones out there. George Clooney. Excuse me.
Never leave the cave without it. But would I say he's my favorite? No. My favorite's Batfleck. It's Batfleck, Bale, Keaton, then Pattinson. I still enjoyed Pattinson's portrayal. It's just sad that he was in a movie that felt longer than the Snyder Cut.
It just dragged. That movie dragged. And that was a 3-hour cut. That's the sad thing.
And I enjoyed that movie still. Let me be clear on this. I love that movie. We may cover that on the show if we can.
Once you get to the end, it's amazing. But God, is it a lot to get through.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that I'm like, you could have cut this, you could have cut this. And I'm like, and everyone complains about the Snyder Cut being too long.
Speaking of the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Full Circle t-shirt is raised.
A t-shirt.
It's already raised $11,000.
Heck yeah! I need to order mine.
It smashed it.
2 weeks to purchase it. So
I meant he failed to catch the Riddler and failed to stop the bomb. I think that was done for the sake of tension, because once you get to the tail end of the second act, everything starts wrapping up.
Pattinson is my favorite Batman. Hey, that's power to you.
Man. More power to you, man.
More power to you. Everyone's allowed to have their own favorite version of Batman. But my favorite are the people that say my favorite version is Michael Keaton because I hate Batmen that kill people. No, I have legit heard that from Nerdette.
Wait.
I love you, Tristan, but here's what I had to do. She made me send her. Outside of the stream, I emailed her an email that had links to every single time he killed and smiled.
Keaton, especially Keaton, made up half the whole video.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I included the clip of Keaton putting a bomb in someone's pants and smiling and kicking the dude down the chimney.
Stop it!
It was so good. Or the machine. I saw this one great clip. It's like Batman saying, "I will never use guns." The Batmobile, the Batplane. It's like.
This is a gun.
It still counts.
Now I remember. Now this was a college fan project. It was a parody about Batman not using gun. I already did the bit. Yeah. All right. Never mind.
And Brown Story says, "I wish Zack Snyder's upcoming movie is released in IMAX instead of on Netflix." Hey, it could. I don't know.
It
We'll
could.
see if it gets popular. It could be a limited release. I think Rebel Moon is gonna smash everything.
And with the way Star Wars is going right now,
it could replace Star Wars. And by Superman Unbound, yeah, we're probably gonna end up covering that because, as Teladia points out, it's actually part of this when you think about it. So we can cover it. And yeah, speaking of what JJheat's talking about, Star Wars is already collapsing, and you have a version by Zack Snyder. Yeah, I think it's going to go pretty well.
I meant to bring this up earlier, but Kathleen Kennedy did a recent interview where she was given a few tough questions, and she did not handle it in an intricate way.
Ooh, boy. Like the fact that that everything she touches in Star Wars rots away. But by the way,
she is the Amber Turd to Johnny. Forget it.
Yeah. By the way, we will be covering a Rebel Moon on a special edition of Movie Night when that movie comes out. That is happening
at the end of the year, guys.
When it comes out, yeah, go ahead.
And also, guys, even in that month, we'll be doing a special stream for Suicide Squad. The Arkham Suicide Squad movie leading up to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fantastic idea. I don't know why I didn't think about that, because that's a fantastic movie.
Okay, I want this on the record. If this, I don't think this will happen, but if this happens, if Kathleen Kennedy ends up stepping down before the end of 2023, not only will we have a celebration stream, I will do my Constantine voice the entire time.
Oh, dude. No, you have to role play as Constantine.
And you have to wear the jacket.
If I can find a trench coat, but I'll see what I can do.
If that happens, here's going to be our reaction. You ready? That's going to be us. So on that note, everyone, hope you enjoyed this edition of Movie Night. Teladia, thank you so much for suggesting it. It was awesome.
And guys, remember, Monday is Mikey Sutton from Dreamwalker, executive producer, will be on my channel as we discuss DC, Dreamwalker, and much, much more, guys.
Link in the description.
Make sure you guys sub to the YouTube page. It will be live Monday night, Tuesday morning. Myself and Mikey Sutton, along with JJheat, if he's available.
Hopefully, I'll be there.
As we discuss all the good stuff, and as well, a big shout out goes out to Jared actually for having me on till 7 o'clock in the goddamn morning yesterday. Well, this morning.
I didn't tell you had to be on the show. I told you we were doing Comics League Dark, and you said I can show up for Comics League Dark. And I was like, okay.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize
it was Jared's 500 subscriber celebration.
Yeah, so excuse me for wanting to have my boys on for the
and I just reached over 140 subscribers, so congrats
sub
to me.
To all these guys. All of their stuff is in the description. And by the way, sign up for 2100 Samurai. I will do the Nick promotion here. That is also in there. Sign up, and Nick reached his goal. Let's get him higher.
And I'm 3 away from 310. If you can get me up to 310, guys. Awesome, because I'm trying to reach 1K by the end of the year, guys.
We're trying to
get you can do it, buddy. We're
trying to monetize the channel, and on top of that, there will be big things coming with me, myself, Jared, and JJheat as we bring back the podcast, which is now called Into the Multiverse, a DC Comics podcast, and we'll be covering everything in DC from movies, TV, video games, and comics. So we'll be doing all of that stuff on the Into the Multiverse podcast, and we'll be done using StreamYard for the first time ever.
Sweet. As for me, we could be collabing a lot more with Max from MME. Awesome dude.
Yeah.
And in terms of what I got coming out this week, on Indie Wednesday, I'm interviewing Immortal Comics with Nick. There was another interview set up by Nick. And then tomorrow, I am releasing a video that's basically discussing probably more that's on the Snyderverse topic. I'm still trying to narrow it down, but it's gonna be Snyderverse related for Monday. And we just generally have a lot of more fun content. And again, thank you everyone for finally getting me past the 500. What's up, Teladia?
Don't forget, guys, no stream on Tuesday for Tuesday night, Wednesday morning for a Superman and Lois reaction.
We're not doing that.
It's taking a week. The show's taking a week off.
So it's taking a week off. So instead, I'm doing the Mikey Sutton show.
Oh,
So,
and don't forget, Wednesday night at midnight, we will be doing a live watch along and discussion of the Mandalorian season 3 finale.
oh yeah.
The Bo-Katan Chronicle concludes.
It's Mandalorian, the Bo-Katan Chronicles. I had to. So
You do
look out for that. It'll be
the
super
honest
fun.
date.
What are you saying, Teladia?
Yeah, what are you doing?
You got stuff coming up, so you want to let them know and
Yeah,
do the honest.
Oh,
Go ahead,
right.
JJheat.
I'm doing a collab sometime tomorrow. I need to get the final time from Nick from Phoenix Press. We're going to do a movie review of Mighty Morphin 97 and Mighty Morphin 2017 in preparation for Once and Always this week. And yes,
Speaking of
I'll do the
which-
bit in a minute. And also after that, I'm taking a break from Soul Tour because I'm having technical difficulties with my server. I may have to set it up on a new computer. So Soul Tour will
Oh,
be
man.
delayed a week. And also, hold on, let me go ahead and share the thumbnail for this. I also
Speaking
have
of
just
which, be sure to catch Nick's special stream talking about Power Ranger Once and Always, and he has a special guest coming on that show. So be there. This is one you don't want to miss.
I agree. And I'm just going to
Yes.
screen share this right quick.
Yeah.
Now, for everyone in the chat, this might please you Teen Titans 03 fans.
Ooh.
My new show, Dark New Direction. After Dark Crisis, when Slade loses his powers and his healing factor, he's reconstructed in his Titans 03 suit, thus going by Slade.
Nice.
I don't know if this is going to be. Go ahead, Jared.
Is this a series where you basically project where this could go?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And episode 2 is going to be Wally West Kid Flash. And
if Dan DiDio had not destroyed him.
no. That is an episode, but it's Wallace West basically.
Oh, okay. I got confused because I thought you were talking about the actual Wally West.
They're both Wally West. Look at that. But I'm sorry, but yeah, it's Wallace West is going to be episode 2, and I believe in about a month from now, I'm going to set up Wally West, the original, for episode 4 of New Direction. I haven't
So the
decided
actual
yet.
Wally West.
Agreed to disagree. And I'm also planning a Batgirl retrospective in the future, Stephanie Brown. So a lot of content. I will post more. Oh, and I want to go ahead and get some early anticipation for this one. This is going to be the first full collaboration with myself, Comics League, Tevia, Nick. It's going to be all 4 of us together for 3 generations, 3 continuities, 1 crisis.
Oh boy.
Our summer blockbuster collab. I'm still working on the thumbnail. God, this is the hardest thumbnail I've ever worked on.
What
But
crisis
once I-
are we talking about?
We're talking about the Super Sons crisis.
No. No, okay.
Crisis of the Super Sons.
Actually, there's a pitch. You guys really need to check out my earlier video today. There actually was a pitch, which really would have been Crisis of the Super Sons. But no, this is going to be like the 3 continuities, DCAU, DCAMU, and Young Justice, all teaming up in a crisis adaptation.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, that's the summer blockbuster I'm trying to plan with these knuckleheads. I'm trying to work on the thumbnail, but once I figure it out, I'll send it to them. And once they approve it, I'll send it to all of you.
So on that note,
Yes.
that is the end of the stream. So may the
Hey,
force be with you.
I'll
Wonder
end my
Bat.
stream. Stop it. I'll end my stream. All right. Stay heroic,
Excelsior!
everyone. I will see you in the next
Wonder
one.
Bat.
See you later.
Wonder-